So, Nick, on our first episode, we were talking about Super Bowl ads. And of course,
Mhm.
I brought up Coinbase. That was kind of the big one for this year's Super Bowl. And we were both in agreement that it's a great looking ad. They really stepped outside the box. It was very creative, but they
Mhm.
could have done a little more on the other side with the follow up to get some more
Mhm.
value out of it. Well, I think the CEO last week might have gone a little too far when it comes to follow up. Have you heard about what's going on?
No, no. Mm-mm.
Okay. So the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, he got on Twitter last week and he started by saying, some folks asked for details of how our Super Bowl ad came to be. Here is the quick backstory. Okay. And then he said, we bought it not knowing what we were going to do. Initially, an outside agency pitched us a bunch of standard Super Bowl ad ideas. I didn't like any of them. Standard Super Bowl ads tend to be gimmicky, celebrity cameo driven, etc. And he said it never made sense to me why I should like a product because a famous person got paid to say they like it. I'm skipping some of these tweets. There are 12 of them. But then it gets toward the end, number 10. He says, I guess if there's a lesson here, it's that constraints breed creativity, and that as founders, you can empower your team to break the rules on marketing because you're not trying to impress your peers at ad week or whatever. No ad agency would have done this ad. Again, all sounding pretty good, right? Like, hey, this guy just took it upon himself to empower his team to be creative, and they came up with this great ad. But a little while later, there was a reply to that tweet from someone named Kristen Cavallo, and she said, except an ad agency did do that ad. What?
Okay. All right.
So then she replied to another one of his tweets on this thread saying, the one that said it was inspired by Reddit's Owl commercial, she replied to that and said, it was actually inspired by presentations our agency showed your team on 818, pages 19 through 24, and 107, pages 11 through 18, with ad concepts for the Super Bowl with floating QR codes on a blank screen.
Ooh.
She came at him with receipts.
Oh, so she's saying it was her idea.
She is the CEO of the Martin Agency. So it might not have been directly her idea, but it was her agency that she's claiming created this idea that he's taking credit for.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, not cool, not cool. Like what is the point of bragging about something? Like, first of all, lying about something like that is bad enough, but to do it
Mhm.
publicly, it's an easily verifiable lie. Like, he didn't think some way she was going to get wind of it. Easily disputable, yet he puts it out there anyway, and now he looks like an idiot. I mean, this is some pretty high level dumbassery, if you ask me.
Mhm.
Kind of a typical tech bro kind of thing. Oh, I'm so great. I'm innovative. I came up with this idea all on my own, even though he didn't. And then he got called out for it. So now he looks bad. Like, why
Yeah.
even take that risk? That
Yeah.
and let's keep in mind, it's a cryptocurrency business. It's of course
Mhm.
gaining in popularity, but there are a lot of people who are still apprehensive about it. Your the brand promise that Coinbase and other companies are making is this is safe, and because we are transparent about our business, and
Mhm.
this is why you can feel secure with us. So if you're saying you're transparent, but then you go on Twitter and lie about your ad, that's breaking your brand promise. Like, I
Mhm.
just don't know what was going through his head when he did this, other than I want to
Yeah.
make myself out to be the hero.
Absolutely. He wants to be seen as a genius, as an innovator, someone setting a trend. She said something key though. He broke his brand promise, and then what ended up happening? Someone complained about it. Someone reached out and said, that's not true. And so even though in this type of example, it's like, how is this being manifested when somebody is working for a company, or, or I'm interacting with your brand? It's like anytime that you make false claims, you lie, your customers will always point it out every single time. So I think a lot of people fall into a trap is they really underestimate the power of social media. And the power is that of the reach. I think that's what people don't really fully grasp, because we're behind the curtains when we're on our keyboard and it's just us and that computer, or us and our phone. And so we just put out a tweet, or we put out a whatever social media post, and we underestimate that this has the potential of reaching millions, and somebody is going to call you out on your lies or your misinformation that you put out into the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's 2022. You'd think he'd know that by now. And look, just to be clear, I'm not trying to, rally people into publicly shaming this guy and calling for his resignation. Like, I'm just trying to make a point that, one, don't lie, don't take credit for someone else's work. There's a level of, if you want to make yourself perceived as a genius, one way is to come up with a genius idea and then say, this was my idea. Or there's genius in recognizing other people's ideas, right? He could have said, this ad agency came to us with something that was so out there. It's never been done before. And, even if he wanted to brag about it a little bit, he could have said, and a lot of CEOs would have passed on it because it was just too different. They would have said, no, this will never work. But I had the vision to see that it would. Like, yeah, that's still egotistical, but it's true, and it still makes him look good.